We need to start talking about Rick Grimes. Carl Morgan. Yeah, we need to talk about Rick Grimes. So we're talking Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln's Rick Grimes from the TV show, and possible spoilers. I'm gonna put spoilers up on top just in case anybody hasn't kept up yet. Why? You have Netflix. They have all the seasons except this season, I believe. Right? Go watch it. Go binge watch it. Eat some popcorn. But we're talking about Rick Grimes. Rick Grimes. And honestly, I want to. This question throws it out to, of course, all my subscribers, anybody who's watching. How do you feel about Rick Grimes? Now, you had. Remember him from the first episode to the present. How are you feeling about Rick? How much does it make you? Does he make you? Are you on board with him? What are your overall feelings about him? Has he changed way too much? Has he changed way too little? Does he have a Rick dictatorship? How do you feel of him still being the leader of basically everybody? Wherever he goes, he's a tsunami, man. He's definitely a tsunami. He lays destruction. No, I don't want to say tsunami. He's a force. He's a force to be reckoned with, and sometimes that could be good, and sometimes that could be bad. Because a lot of times when Rick's involved in something, a lot of people die. The community hasn't really had any deaths until this point, but that doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't going to happen sooner or later. So my overall, just to let you guys, for example, my overall feelings of Rick is how crazy the journey has been since episode 1 to now, and especially now that we have Morgan back, and now we have those interactions and them reminiscing about how they first met, and how Morgan sees the change in Rick, and how he tells him, we're killers, Rick, I'm a killer, you're a killer. But then again, Morgan having that one moment like, that's the old Rick, that's the Rick I know. That's something, man. That's something to see. Just Rick, just seeing him in these latest seasons is crazy. I mean, overall, he's still not there. I feel like he's still not there. I feel like he definitely has been. It's reasonable since he's been through so much already with Lori, with all his friends dying, even being in shock how he just pretty much was reborn and was able to get out when he was unconscious, to finally come out of that coma and realizing the world is done, the world is gone, I'm still alive, how am I still alive? And especially the battles he's went through, especially with the governor. Rick, sometimes I don't agree with him though. Sometimes I think he's taking too many risks, and sometimes he's just he can't be the nice guy in Apocalypse, honestly. And I think the community is starting to figure that out. Like, you could be nice, but that's not how you survive. And I think Carol figured that out a long time ago. Rick, but when you see him, when you see the way he acts, you just see it in his eyes. Like, there's something not there. There's something not there. There's an animal. There's an animal that could be released any moment. And we witnessed that when he, of course, when he bit that guy's throat. I can't remember his name right now. To save Carl, and to see Carl scream like that, I mean, anybody would just go crazy like that. And I think somebody would try to bite somebody's throat to get to Carl. Rick is a killer. Overall, I think that's where I'm getting at. Rick is a killer. I remember when he was the Law, but now he's the killer. He's the Shane. I will keep pointing to Shane because I think a lot of people do realize it, but The Shane in the comic books was not very memorable. He was there, he was gone. The Shane in the television show, because of the performance as well, but that character was something unique. That character had ideals that you could actually say, I like Rick, but I kind of side on Shane. Rick has become Shane, yet more cunning, more strategic, more evolved, so to speak. I think he's more evolved than Shane, of course, because he had all this time to evolve. But Rick, man, he's a killer. He will do anything necessarily. He still has a little bit of hope where Dale says sometimes, like, this is a man's life. This is a man's life. We live in an apocalypse, yes, but this still is a man's life. Where's our morals? You ain't human anymore. I mean, it's a fine line, especially since we're here right now. But my feelings on Rick is I still like him. I still like Rick. I still agree on some of the things he has to say. I feel like it is a Rick dictatorship. I would like to see a little bit of the old Rick go back where he does. He's catered. I mean, it is very realistic and very, when you think about it, like he definitely listens to his group, his people, not the people outside, his people. But if I were in the shoes of those people, of the community of Alexandria, and I saw Rick come in with his people and like, okay, this guy is a little, I gotta watch him. And then him taking over, him having this whole ideal, him saying, you must listen to me to survive. I would be a little, I'm a rebellious type, and I probably wouldn't be on the side of Rick. I'd be like, Rick, we've done this, we've been like this for so long. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sure, I get what you're saying. We need to survive. We need to learn. I get that. But having a zombie horde, that's not the right way. That's not the right way. That would be me. And I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with me. But with Rick, if I were to meet this Rick, I would probably not like him, honestly. If I was in a community and I got to meet Rick, and hell, I would be probably kind of intimidated by him because he does have that manner now where he just looks at you and you know he's business. A lot of people who meet Rick know that this is the leader, and he looks like a leader. Yeah, he's Rick. I like Rick. I really like Rick. I like Rick in the television. I might like Rick in the television more than I like the comics. No, I love the comics. But I do like this Rick from Andrew Lincoln. I do like where this Rick is headed because it does bring a lot of conflict. It does bring a lot of enjoyment where you don't have to necessarily agree with your main lead. You don't. You respect him, but you don't agree with him. So with Morgan coming in, it just makes everything more interesting because I love Morgan. He might be my number one on the show. And the ideals, the same yet different. The struggle, always the same. And Rick dictatorship and his way of doing things could always, look at what's going on right now. It's going wrong. Shit's going down the drain. We've seen Rick crazy. We've seen Rick humble. We've seen Rick the law Rick. We've seen killer Rick. We've seen Rick of a man who's been broken. We've seen Rick of a man who sees hope. I think that's what I want to see a little bit more of Rick. And that you start getting that towards later on. But a little bit more hope for Rick. I hope we get to that transition pretty soon. Because it is great to see comic book Rick and where the fine line he was in. And just see hope. Just see hope. So, and then you have Judith. And there's your hope right there. There's the one thing you got to protect, and there's the one thing that could make this world better. We'll see how far Judith goes. I still think Judith, it's going to be interesting. Are they going to have Judith really, grow up and stuff? And the legacy that Rick leaves, that's going to be interesting as well in the comics and on the television show. So my thoughts on Rick is I still like Rick. I'm scared of Rick. I'm intimidated by Rick. I wouldn't agree with Rick, but I still like Rick. So tell me, guys, how you're feeling about Rick Grimes today, his present state. You could go back and just think about all that memories of Rick Grimes and what he had. He's always trying to help people. He's always trying to save people. But at this point, he will not hesitate to kill people. And that old Rick Grimes back in season 1, season 2, hell, season 3, yeah, that Rick Grimes was a lot different. So, thank you guys for listening. I'm Dan the Man, aka Dan Son. Until we talk more Walking Dead. I'll see you guys later. Please subscribe. Hit that button. Would really appreciate it. Subscribe for Rick Grimes. Subscribe for The Walking Dead. Subscribe. Like the video if you like it, and comment below. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. See you guys later.